Starseeds, and welcome to another Monday. I totally got lost track of time, and I'm clearly losing my words today as well. But I was just recording all of my content for the Creator Awakener membership videos for September, actually. So I do pre-record my content for the membership page, and September is all about inner earth. So if you don't already know, all of the membership content, there's brand new content channeled every single month, and it always has a theme. So I am learning so much. I'm literally just got done remote viewing the inner earth civilization, talking to some beings, getting some really big questions answered. So for the creators, you will look forward to that, and awakeners, you'll look forward to that in September. This month is all about the Galactic Federation of Light, so really important messages coming to you for the month of May directly from the Galactic Federation. Next month is all about the human journey, and wow, do we ever unpack some pretty deep stuff about being human. So yeah, and then what was the other really cool topic? Oh yeah, August is all about astral traveling and remote viewing, so I deep dive with the creators and awakeners about that. So yeah, lots of content to discover. I did actually just check out the membership page and noticed that the videos weren't titled correctly, so it was like membership creators how to. It's like how to what? So I'm gonna go in today and spend some time actually refining the titles of those videos so you guys know what exactly that's about. Today we are talking all about clearing karma and what exactly is karma, how do we clear it, and I'm not talking about any old karma. I'm talking about real 5D karmic clearing, okay? We're talking about the real deal stuff. I did notice right before I got on that I don't have a mug today. I just have water, so sorry about that. And I can't even like fool you. It's just a clear bottle of water. So no intuitive mug today, but I'm sure I will bring it back in the next video. And before I deep dive into 5D karma, karmic clearing, even utilizing karma to manifest, which is a pretty wild concept, and I do recommend you get your notebooks out for this video. A couple of announcements. I do have a brand new workshop coming out in June 17th, and it is the Quantum Human Workshop. Originally, it was going to be about soul contracts, but I just didn't feel it with the soul contracts. And so I went into a deep trance. I asked what humanity needed right now, and this is all the information that came out. And it is quantum physics. It is what we can do when surpassing space and time. It's what we can do when manifesting, hopping timelines, entering into other dimensions. I mean, it's pretty wild stuff, and it does come with a workbook, and it comes with a ton of quantum homework. So if you're interested in that hour-and-a-half, potentially 2-hour-long workshop, then sign up for the Quantum Human. All of my workshops are $22. Mostly they come with a workbook, sometimes they come with a meditation, and if you buy the live ticket, you also get the recording with that ticket purchase. So just keep that in mind. I also wanted to just shout out my brand new merch collab. I'm wearing the merch right now, and of course, yep, the garbage truck has to come right in this moment, so thank you, garbage truck, for entering it. I swear I was gonna miss it. Like today, I was like, yeah. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, cool. So yeah, I really love this clothing. I wear it almost every day, and so today when I woke up and I put it on, I'm like, I don't even have to change for my video. What I love most about the Galactic Federation clothing is I get to walk around and actually spread a message, even for people who are like, what does illuminated mean? What does light worker mean? What is the Galactic Federation of Light? It really just kind of plants that seed in their mind. So that's really what I love doing with the clothing. And then, yeah, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, of course, only if you like the content, but hopefully you do, and that's why you're here. So let's just deep dive. What is karma? I have talked about karma before. I actually wrote a whole book on karma, but it happened to be so complex that I couldn't even wrap my own mind around it. So that book is on the back burner for right now. I believe that karma is just an energetic reverberation. So any action, any thoughts, any reaction creates an energetic reverberation. And karma is not necessarily a good or a bad thing, even though we like to polarize it. And what else did I want to mention about it? And this entire universe has karma. So no matter what being you are, no matter what dimension you're in, no matter what planet you're existing on, karma does exist, okay? It is one of the primary laws of the universe, in fact. And because we live in a binary or polarized universe, every energetic reverberation out has to be met with the completion of the energetic reverberation coming back. That is simply what karma is, okay? Is just energy out and subsequently the energy coming back around just to complete the cycle. We do exist and live in a cyclical universe, all right? And that's part of the binary aspect of this universe as well. If you have a negative charge, you have a positive charge somewhere out there. And it's kind of like the concept of spooky action at a distance if you want to get into quantum physics. Okay, so what is karma in 3D? Typically, like old Earth karma or karma in 3D is based off of physical action. So you take an action step and that energetic reverberation from that action step comes back and it has to complete one way or another. All right, thank you so much, Sharma, for that beautiful super chat. And karma in the third dimension frequency happens at a much slower pace because the third dimension in and of itself is a much lower vibration, so things take so long, like the garbage truck coming back around, to happen. You know what I mean? So sometimes in the old Earth frequency, if you say steal from a shop in like an 18th century past life, it may take you 3 years, 3 lifetimes, all right, to come back around and to complete that karma. These days, karma is working in a very, very different way. Okay, cool. What else? Yeah, karma is changing. So what is karma in 5D? Karma in 5D is a much faster reverberation. It's a much faster cyclical closing, if you want to call it that. So when we think about something, when we take action on something, and when we react to something, that energetic completion is happening a hell of a lot faster. And the reason why is because the energy on planet Earth and around us is moving at a much faster vibrational frequency. Therefore, things are just happening faster naturally. All right. So karma in 5D, not only is it much faster, but it doesn't require space or time to close the gap. Okay, this is really, really fascinating. Okay, so when I take an action in the physical reality, in the old Earth or in 3D, you needed to take a very similar action in order to close the loop. In a 5D frequency, because we are no longer bound by the traditional physics of space and time, I can then think about something. I can work with the quantum world. I can work with the non-physical world in order to close the physical loop that I opened, which means that the possibilities of closing your karma are very, very vast. Like the doors that have opened for us are a lot, okay, in this new frequency. So we need to start thinking about this concept in a very different way. Okay, cool. So there's a fun little like tidbit that came in here when I was channeling this right before. utilizing karma to manifest. I never really thought, I guess, about karma and manifestation, but when I started to channel it, I'm like, of course, karma is a great way to think about manifesting. And I'm going to explain it in hopefully an understandable way. So instead of taking action to create something, now most of the time we go about our day, I don't know what we do. We're like eating and laughing and working and playing with the kids or whatever. We're going about our day and we're creating karma within our day, just naturally. Once again, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and by good and bad I mean sometimes the energetic reverberation is high vibration and sometimes the energetic reverberation is low vibration, all right? But what happens is as we move through life with our actions, with our thoughts, and with our reactions, we are creating energetic ripples around us. And once again, 3D karma is physical action. And so instead of taking physical action to create, we can actually think to create. All right? It's kind of hard to explain, but I hope that this really makes sense. Yeah. So think about it this way. We can utilize the energetic reverberation from our minds to attract the physical manifestation of that thought. All right? So no longer does me taking a sip of water or me spilling my water bottle off the table and then say tomorrow I almost spill it, but I catch it, and there's the energetic closure of that physical action. No longer do we have to create a vision board to manifest something in the physical. No longer do we have to write lines of I am abundant to really create that abundance in the physical. Before, utilizing visual aids or utilizing written aids is a really great way of taking a non-physical thought form and putting it into the physical reality. And by doing that, we are manifesting those things in the physical reality. Now, yes, those things are also still really great tools to work with, but what I'm saying is that as we get into these higher frequencies, all we have to do is think about the thing to emit that energetic reverberation to bring that energetic manifestation back in the physical. We no longer have to go physical meets physical. It no longer has to be apples meets apples. It can be apples meets oranges meets plums, right? Because we're working in a quantum field. All the doors are open to us. So we have to start thinking about these things in a different way. So I wanted to bring up how karma, just the understanding of energetic reverberation and the cycles of energy, can actually be utilized to create to create manifestation. Okay? So anytime you think about something, you're emitting it into the ethers as an energy wave. The more you think about that thing, the stronger that ripple becomes, the more magnetic that energy wave is, and the faster those things are manifested. Likewise, when we think about something or we're stuck on a negative thought or we're worried about something, that worry or that repeated negative thought is going to create these energy ripples out, and it's actually going to manifest physically into your reality in a super negative way. Like a good example of this is if you have, I'm just going to use my own example, if you have a problem with your skin and you're like, oh my God, I'm almost 30, I'm still breaking out, what's the deal with my skin? And you have a reaction in your mind and you think about it all the time. And granted, sometimes I think about it, but I don't think about it that much. But when you have that reaction internally, what you're going to end up causing and creating is a situation in your physical reality where someone steps into your life and says, ooh, that outfit kind of makes you look overweight, or like, oh wow, have you tried this product for your skin? Because it looks pretty bad. You're going to manifest that. Karma does not choose sides. All right? Karma is not a negative thing or a positive thing. Karma is just the bounce back of an energy that you emit. You create karma. If you as a conscious soul being did not exist, was not currently observing your reality, then karma wouldn't simply exist. It is because of individual incarnated souls that karma exists. But karma exists everywhere. Karma is not a trap. Karma is not sticking us to this planet. As a matter of fact, from what I've channeled, you can create karma here on this planet and go complete that karma as an interdimensional being on some other terrestrial planet. All right? We're not stuck here because of karma. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that karma has been manipulated on this planet to such a degree that we do end up getting stuck here, unfortunately, but we can break free of that, all right? If you believe that you're stuck here because of karma, well then guess what's going to happen? You're going to be stuck here because of karma. But because of the higher vibrational frequencies, no longer are we ever going to be stuck anywhere. We can get ourselves out of the causation, the effect of the energetic ripple. We can get ourselves out of that. And there are many ways to get ourselves out of that rather than having to linearly walk through space and time and go through the exact same situation again in order to close that loop. We can close these energy loops instantaneously just by observing it, just by thinking about it. That's how cool this is becoming, right? This is brand new. This is unprecedented. I don't know if anyone else is talking about this, but I'm talking about it. And it's new. It's 5D. It's this new Earth frequency that really opens up the possibilities for us. All right. So I want to talk about basically the steps in doing this. How can you utilize the fifth dimension, this new understanding of karma, to clear your karma instantly? And I hope that I can explain this in a very clear and concise way, because it can get very overwhelming. Okay, so about a week ago, I got, maybe less than that, what is time? A couple of days ago, I got a message from a friend of mine, and he said, "Oh my God, Elizabeth, like you were in my dream last night." And I said, "Okay, what happened?" So I'm going to teach you, this is really funny actually, I'm going to teach you this technique today from me being in my friend's dream, teaching him that technique. And when I heard him say it, I'm like, oh my God, that does sound like my teaching. And I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and use that. So here's the dream. So essentially, like, I was in his dream and there was a bug, like a beetle or something, that was crossing a gravel road. And so we were standing side by side and we were watching this beetle on this road crossing the road. And I was explaining to him, I guess, that as the beetle moves across the gravel, it's creating a wake in its path. It's creating a pathway behind it. You can very clearly see where the beetle was scuttering across because there's a line behind it. And I kind of imagine like a snail or a slug. Like you can very see the pathway that it traveled. And so what I was explaining to him in this dream is that there is a possibility, there is a way in which we immediately close that reality wake. We immediately close the energy that travels behind every single thought, action, and reaction. We can close that as we move forward. And I believe that that is the only way to free ourselves from this planet. Well, I mean, in general, it's the only way to free ourselves from karma. Can you imagine that? That no longer are you walking through the next moment being forced to close all of the moments before that moment. There's no need for closure in the future because you're not leaving anything open, right? So that's really cool. So I'm like, okay, cool. Reality wakes. That's what it is. It's a reality wake. As you move forward in your day, you're not actually moving forward, but as you just move through time and you move through space, you are creating energetic reverberation, which essentially later down the line, you're going to have to bring closure to. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to teach you a way in which you can bring closure to things in the present moment while they happen, rather than ever having to close things in the future. All right, I hope you're with me. All right, cool. Yes. Okay, so the first thing that I want to mention about how to bring closure to this, how to clear karma as you move along. Step number 1, do not react unnecessarily. This is a big one. There's really only 2 steps, by the way. Step number 1 of 2 is do not react unnecessarily. Okay, so I have a great example of this, and there's many examples every day of us reacting as a human being because of judgment, because of overwhelm, because of attachment, because of expectation, because of whatever. So I was out walking the dog just a couple of days ago, and this is so bizarre, but so there's this teenage boy who is standing beside his car. So his car's parked on it's like in our neighborhood, okay? We live in suburbia here in Nevada. And so he's standing on the side of this like suburban neighborhood. And I'm like, what is this kid doing? Like, this is so weird. And he like walks around and he gets in his car and he drives away, and there's like a puddle there. And I'm like, he was peeing. Like, I can't. I'm like, who gets out of their car to pee on the side of a suburban neighborhood, probably on his way to his friend's house? I mean, it was bizarre. Anyway, so my human reaction is like, oh my God. I mean, okay, look, like, I pee on the side of the road, like maybe on a long road trip in the middle of the desert or like whatever, but like not in, anyway, it's fine, okay? But the human reaction was there, and I'm like, oh my God, I could call the HOA on him, which is like, wow, who am I? And then I had this realization of that's his reality, right? Like he's just living his life. He's probably living his best life. And for me to get involved in that reality and then to start to open this brand new door of this situation that I'm creating based on this teenage kid who's living his best life, is like, wow. Like, I literally just saw all of the energetic reverberation around that, so much so that I got this download and I wrote it down in my 2022 downloads, and here I'm talking about it now as a teaching moment, right? We don't realize that our reaction and our interactions with other people around us create a door to be opened, and eventually, based on the law of karma, you're gonna have to go back around and close that door. You know what I mean? It's like this thing that just hangs over you. It's this energetic thing that you need to bring closure to later on. So how many energetic things are we just hanging on to, waiting for them to be closed? So the first thing that I recommend is stop creating unnecessary karma by reacting when you don't need to react. All right? It was a bizarre example that I just gave, but think about your own life. Think about your day-to-day life. All right? Like, a good example for me is like, I don't know why, but like my wife has this insatiable ability to put her, I don't know what she eats with her hands or something, but to put her greasy little fingerprints all over the fridge. I like literally just clean it. I just wipe it down and boom, like I can tell that she's been in it because there's just like paw prints everywhere. I'm like, are you high-fiving the refrigerator? Like, this blows my mind. And I know this intellectually. Do I practice it? Not so much. that when I react and I feel the need to tell her, babe, like, come, that's not even how you open the fridge door. Like, what are you doing? I know that my reaction causes the completion of that reaction, which, guess what that karmic completion is? It's more fingerprints. That's exactly what that completion is. And what I need to do upon getting confronted with that energy again of the freaking fingerprints on the fridge is I need to choose a different path. Every time I choose the same reactionary path, I get the exact same physical results. Why? Because it's a lesson for me to not react. It's really, truly what it is. The second I stop reacting is the second I close the door of the energetic reverberation around the fridge and how clean it is, and it's the second that it actually stops happening. All right? So stop reacting unnecessarily, because it's creating unnecessary karma that you're just going to have to deal with in your day. And it's going to be frustrating because you're not going to expect it. FYI. All right. Okay, cool. All right, let's talk about step number 2. Step number 2 has a bunch of sub-steps. Okay, so it's not really 2 steps, but it is kind of 2 steps. So once again, step number 1, don't react unnecessarily, and you're stopping yourself from creating karma before you actually create it so that you've got a lot less cleaning up to do. Cool. Step number 2 is complete the energies in your mind. So like I said, old karma, old 3D karma is physical action needs to be met with physical action in order to complete the karmic loop. New 5D karma is physical action, energetic interaction, energetic reaction, okay, creates a ripple, and you can choose any one of those things to complete it. Some ways that you can complete karma is you could write things down and then burn the piece of paper. That can be completing of karma if you want to do it physically. If you feel strong enough and focused enough in your own mind, you can just clear karma in your own mind. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. Those are the sub-steps, okay? So don't feel like, okay, clear all my karma, which is fine. You can actually ask for all of your karma to be cleared. I warn you, because I've done this before and I really, really regretted it. I warn you on asking your higher self to clear all of your karma all at once, because what happens is the shitstorm of reverberation that you created in the past, whether it be a week ago or 5 lifetimes ago, all hit you at the same time. You're like, you want to complete all your garbage? Okay, cool. We're just going to lay it on you. We're just going to give you everything then. So probably don't ask for that. You could definitely ask for, I'm ready to complete the next step, the next aspect of karma that I need to complete, right? Like one step at a time sort of thing. But here's what I recommend. Here's what I wrote down. It's a little bit intangible, but hopefully it makes sense. So the first thing underneath the complete the energies in your mind, the first thing that I recommend is take responsibility, okay? If something happens in your life and you're like, oh my God, like that was my neighbor who did that, or that was my boss who did that to me, or that was my partner who did that to me, you are going to hit a brick wall, a black hole, or just an energetic spiral if you blame anything and everything else other than yourself for your predicaments, your situations, and where you're at in life. You're never going to get anywhere with that. Okay? So you literally, step number 1 in completing the energetic karma, or the karma in general, is take responsibility for everything. Like, freaking own it. And then, and only then, can you complete it. If you don't think that you're to blame for it, you can never complete it, because it's not yours, or you're refusing to accept that it's yours. All right? So that's the first subheading is, take responsibility. So important. All right, step number 2 is learn or / understand the lesson. And I say like / understand because sometimes we can't always just learn the lesson. So something crazy happens in your life and you're like, oh my God, why did I get rear-ended? And then you're like, okay, wait. Take responsibility. I created that situation. Why? Why did I create that situation in my life? When we start to ask the question, why, we start to get to the lesson behind it. What are you learning from that? All right? And with learning that lesson, we complete the karma. That's like, for me, it's like learning the lesson of not reacting to the fingerprints on the fridge. If I see those fingerprints and I have zero reaction, maybe my reaction is physical. Maybe I immediately grab, which I used to do a lot, grab a cloth and a spray bottle and like clean the fridge immediately because I just can't handle the fingerprints. Maybe my emotional or energetic reaction is telling my wife, oh my God, like your fingerprints are all over the fridge again. Maybe I do both of those reactions, okay? It creates an energetic ripple that needs to come back around and complete itself. So for me to learn the lesson of, oh, this is just a lesson of reaction, and if I don't react and I just let it be, then I'm clearing that energy. And every time I see fingerprints, it causes a stir or causes a reaction in me less and less and less, to the point where it's not a problem anymore. Might still be a problem for the fridge, but it's not a problem for me, right? And we clear these things. And eventually, physically, it will just stop happening, which is really wild too when that stuff starts to kind of come back around. Okay, and then after you can take responsibility, after you understand or learn the lesson, the third step is neutralize the vibe. Neutralize the vibration of it. If you get rear-ended and you're really pissed, but you can take responsibility for it, you're like, okay, I created this for some reason. Oh, I created this because my car really needs a checkup and I can't afford the checkup, so guess what? The insurance company is going to pay for the checkup, and it's their insurance company. So thank you so much, person who's texting and driving, for doing this, because you just got me a new car or a rental or a checkup or maintenance or whatever it is that you needed, all right? And then neutralize it, right? After learning or even just understanding the lesson, neutralize the vibration of it, because the more that you react to it in your own mind, the more that you think about it in a negative way, or the more that you think about it in a positive way. Like, for example, you win the lottery and you're so psyched about it, you're telling everyone about it, and it's the best thing ever. You're constantly focusing on one aspect of your reality, and you're rippling out this energy of whatever it may be. I don't know if it's like maybe greed or ego or attachment. That attachment will roll back around so that you lose all of that lottery money, and you got to learn a very valuable lesson of what attachment, what ego, what projection, what abundance really is, and how to really level yourself out. If you continuously, like I said, it's really difficult to do this, but if you continuously live a life where you are in an objective state of being, observing everything objectively, then you're really creating very, very little karma, all right? I would say at this point in time, probably, let's just say for sake of ease, 50% of your existence, like 50% of your day, 50% of your week, 50% of your year is just old shit that you're completing. And then let's say 50% of your day, 50% of your week, 50% of your year is actually brand new experiences that you as a soul have actually never had before. All right? If we can get that to 80%, 90% of just new experiences, where you don't have to fill your time with clearing the old, then you're opening yourself up to an infinite number of new opportunities to play around with. If you take on a new opportunity in a very neutral way, like maybe you're very grateful, but you're not necessarily attached, you can take that new opportunity on and be excited about it without necessarily emitting this ripple of energy, okay? Another good example of karma is, say for example, you and your partner have a fight, and you stop talking to each other, or it's really awkward in the household, and that goes on for 2 weeks, right? And you're just like, oh my God, like I can't handle him or whatever. And that awkwardness goes on for 2 weeks. And then eventually you're like, we have to talk about this because this is ridiculous. Nowadays, it's you have a fight with your partner, you communicate it out, you talk it out, hopefully right away, right on the spot, and all of you should know that you're going to immediately feel neutralized after that. You're going to immediately feel hopefully better after talking it out and neutralizing the energy of that fight. Whatever the solution comes down to, right? That's a really good example to think of with karmic energy. We can no longer let this stuff play out in our lives and affect every part of our lives. We can observe the reaction, observe the energetic and physical interaction immediately, and bring closure to it immediately by understanding, I created this, what am I learning from this, how am I bringing closure to this, and observe it until you no longer feel a reaction in your body, whether the reaction is positive or negative. All right? Okay, one more example because it really pops up here. Say, for example, a really bad trauma happens to you, okay? Really, really bad trauma happens to you. But in the moment of the trauma, mostly this happens in childhood. In the moment of trauma, you're like, I'm a 10-year-old kid. Like, I don't know how to deal with this. So you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to play video games. And video games is going to be my outlet for this trauma that has happened to me. All right? It may take 10 years. It may take 15 years. It may take 25 years for you to circle back around to that trauma that happened in childhood, for you to then be like, I'm in a safe place enough for me to then observe and learn and understand what happened to me back then. And for the first time in 25 years, you're feeling the experience. So emotions has a huge part to play in this. So when I say be objectively aware of things, it doesn't necessarily mean suppress all your emotions. Because when we have an emotional experience without actually allowing ourselves to feel the emotions, we have this energetic ripple, we have this causation that has the effect of, as we all know, affecting our lives in quite a negative way if we suppress those emotions. By experiencing something emotional, and being with the emotion, feeling the emotion in the moment, you're clearing it. You're experiencing, you're learning. It might be really shitty, but that's okay because you're with it. All right? We can close things instantly by doing this, by really being present with every moment of our lives and really tuning into the effect of that. One more thing that I would recommend as well, I've got a couple more things, but one more thing that kind of comes up is ask yourself if the experience that you're having is brand new or if it's a repeated experience from the past. Now, at a conscious level, you're probably like, oh yeah, I attract the same guy every time I date, right? And that's like the thing. But at a subconscious level, you may have no idea if this is a past life thing or not. But deep down, if you were to really clear your mind and focus and meditate on it, you're going to know, absolutely, this is a brand new thing, and I have no idea how to navigate this. And that's a really great thing, because guess what? You can navigate it in a way where you do not create extra karma around it by being present with it, observing it, and make sure that there are no energetic loose ends. I'm experiencing this and closing this in the present moment. I don't have to come back around to this. Subconsciously, deep down, you're also going to know, is this a repeated experience? And that's when you really want to deep dive into, have I learned what I need to learn? And where is my reaction at with this experience? Okay? You will know for sure if you have closed an old energy if you never think about it again. Just really want that to sink in. You will know if you have closed karma if you never think about it again. Maybe every once in a while, like, you'll bring in a tool from that experience. But you know when someone like really does you wrong and it really affects you and you're like, oh my God, like I gave so much to this person and they just totally abandoned me, or they totally, kicked me to the dust or whatever. And you think about that over and over again, right? There's karma there. There's reaction there. There's attachment there. That's something to focus on. If your mind keeps spiraling back to the same things, you know that there's something unresolved there. There's something incomplete there. When someone from the past randomly pops up into your mind years later, it's a good indication that there's still some energy there that needs to be closed. And the reason why it's coming back around after such a long time is because the frequency of where you're at in this moment matches the frequency of where you were at when you were with them or what have you. And this is a perfect little window for you to bring closure to that energy. Cool? Okay, cool. So once again, I highly recommend, if you enjoyed this kind of content, you definitely want to check out the Quantum Human workshop happening on June 17th. And then, of course, the recording's going to be really epic as well, and so is the workbook. Lots of great homework there. If you really enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. I see 700 people watching and 200 likes. I mean, what's that about? Please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, of course, if you haven't already. I hope that this video was very enlightening to all of you and you learned something and you can go about your reality and go about your life in a much more astute, a much more aware, a much more observing type of way so that you can be free for the next week, for the next year, for the next lifetime. All right? Bye, everyone.